Well, good morning, and thank you all for coming out today. First, I want to thank Bob McElroy and everybody at Alpha Projects for hosting us here today. Bob, thank you so much. We'll tell you, this Alpha Square project has been such a tremendous success, and what we're here to talk about today is creating more opportunities like Alpha Square throughout the entire city. We also have some other great folks joining us here today. Rick Gentry, President and CEO of the San Diego Housing Commission. County Supervisor Ron Roberts, who chairs the Regional Task Force on the Homeless. Councilmember Chris Ward, who chairs the Council Select Committee on Homelessness. Councilmember Georgette Gomez, who serves as Vice Chair of that same committee. Gordon Walker, of course, who is our new Chief Executive of the Regional Task Force on the Homeless. And Jonathan Herrera, the city's new Senior Advisor on Homelessness Coordination. So thank you all for being here today. All of us are joining together to kick off the next phase of San Diego's Housing Commission's Housing First Action Plan. And over the next 3 years, the Commission will spend roughly $80 million on several vital programs, all aimed at reducing homelessness in our city and our region. And we all know that the best way to start ending the cycle of homelessness for some is to put a roof over their head and provide them the support that they need. And that's exactly what we're going to be able to do for thousands of our homeless neighbors with this new Housing First Action Plan. And this is a perfect example of how the region is working together to create more housing opportunities and second chances for those that are struggling on our streets. And as we've said many times before, there is no one silver bullet that is going to solve this homeless crisis. We need to attack it from every angle. And this action plan takes a variety of approaches that will help people turn their lives around, or, just as importantly, prevent them from becoming homeless in the first place. And so first and foremost, the Commission is going to invest more than $50 million to create hundreds of new permanent supportive housing units. And this plan also provides vouchers to support the county's Project One for All initiative for homeless individuals who are struggling with mental health issues. We're also going to take the Housing Our Heroes effort to the next level. We've been able to house about 800 homeless veterans by providing the incentives to landlords and encouraging them to open their doors. And now we're going to be providing similar incentives to help house homeless individuals who haven't served in the military. The Commission will also be expanding its rapid rehousing program, boosting its homeless prevention and diversion services, and moving forward with a new rental assistance program and increasing outreach efforts on the street. So I'm going to let the other speakers dive into more of the specifics on each of the elements of the plan. But the bottom line is this: we're united in creating the opportunities for 1,000 more individuals, 1,000 more housing opportunities for people that are struggling on our streets. It's the right thing to do. And I want to take this opportunity before I introduce him to thank Rick Gentry, his entire team at the Housing Commission, and our housing commissioners for all of their dedicated and hard work. Launch of these efforts, it's truly incredible. Rick, you and your team have been tireless advocates for our homeless individuals, for our neighbors, and this plan and this effort is reflective of those efforts over the last several months. And with that, it's my pleasure to begin with our speakers to turn it over to Rick Gentry. Rick?
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, and thank you, Mayor Faulconer, and thank you all the dignitaries who are here with us today. I will point out that Housing First San Diego was first kicked off by the Housing Commission in November of 2014. It was kicked off then by Mayor Faulconer, and also at that time, City Council President Todd Gloria, where we targeted getting some 1,500 people off the street in the following 3 years. Well, I'm happy to say that the efforts we kicked off in November of 2014 and added to a year later will have the effect of getting some 3,000 individuals off the streets in San Diego by the time the programs are finished later this year. We're happy today to be here to talk about the latest iteration of the Housing Commission's Housing First San Diego plan. This plan, we believe, will conservatively house an additional 3,000 residents in a permanent fashion, and we're directing, as the mayor said, some $79.7 million over the next 3 years money in federal, city, and San Diego commission funds, and we're looking for those to be employed in 6 different program areas. I'm going to highlight 4 of those 6 this morning, those that will impact the most people. The first one, as the mayor indicated, is the landlord incentive program. One of my concerns 3 years ago when we kicked off the first programs was making sure that we had active and willing landlord participation here in San Diego. And we focused on encouraging that participation in the Housing Our Heroes program that the mayor kicked off a little over a year ago. That program targeted housing 1,000 veterans. We're well on our way to getting those 1,000 housed by about the end of September this year. We currently have about 800 housed. And we pointed out to the landlords in the private sector that we did not expect the private sector participants to lose money on social programs. We expected them to be like all private sector entrepreneurs, to make money, and we set up programs that would alleviate risk or reduce the risk housing a particular part of the population that might be non-traditional. And in that program, as we've indicated, some 800 have been housed, another 328 have been targeted and are out looking for housing units right now, with the help of housing navigators, folks who are helping this customer base locate and find appropriate units. And I'll point out too that in this one program alone, we have increased our individual landlord participation in our voucher program by some 388 additional new landlords. And I think that's a testament to the private sector stepping up to the plate. And it's a testament too, I think, to government in San Diego understanding and employing the private sector in addressing a social goal. A second major component of our newest Housing First San Diego plan is that we will invest funds to create some 500 new permanent supportive housing units. Housing First San Diego that we set out initially 2.5+ years ago has produced an additional 523 units, including both housing commission-owned properties and also properties owned by third-party private sector sources. Those properties are either completed or in process right now, all of which will be completed over the next year or so. We believe that the additional funds, some $61 million of the $79 million, will go toward these 500 brand new units. And what we believe is that we have to have a combination of existing properties and new properties, both from a demand side and a supply side, to make programs work. So we're looking to utilize the existing marketplace and also add new units to the marketplace for our customer base. I'll also point out that the Housing Commission is also going to do something brand new. One of the things that we've noted over the past 2.5 years that we've been involved in this program is that the overwhelming bulk of the homelessness effort employed throughout the region has been reactive and after the fact and after somebody becomes homeless. What we're doing with Housing First San Diego this iteration is to target a certain amount of our funding to a homelessness prevention and diversion program. What we believe that we can do is to help some 1,450 families and individuals to avoid homelessness in the first place. As you all have seen, even given our best efforts, the problem has continued to grow. Unless we figure out a way to get ahead of the problem, it will continue to grow. And we think a major new effort going forward is not only solving homelessness after it happens, but keeping it from occurring in the first place. So for these 1,450 families, it would be a new experiment by us. We believe it's going to work quite well, and I think it's a truly creative new part of a wonderful program that we have put together. Finally, and this is a reference to the Regional Task Force on the Homeless that you heard the mayor reference a while ago, we are also targeting funding to develop an enhanced, comprehensive, and coordinated outreach system that will help to identify gaps throughout the city and the region, indeed, to help find additional ways to solve this problem. Again, if we don't get ahead of the issue, we're never going to solve it with all the reactive programs in the world. So we believe that with our homelessness prevention program and with our targeted coordination with the region, we believe that we can help be good neighbors and help keep people from becoming homeless in the first place. I'd like to recognize a few folks today. In addition to thanking Mayor Faulconer for his leadership, also Council Members Ward and Gomez are here from the City Council. They've been tireless leaders in this effort. And I'd also like to point out one of the board members from the San Diego Housing Commission, Ben Moraga, is here somewhere in the audience. But Ben, thank you very much for the leadership on the part of the board. I'll point out that the board of the commission targeted the homelessness issue as a major incentive area for the Housing Commission to address. In our initial strategic plan we put together back in 2013, and it's been a continuing incentive for the Housing Commission ever since. I'd also point out another very special person here with us today, and that is County Supervisor Ron Roberts. Ron is not only county supervisor, but beginning in April of this year, became the chair of the Regional Task Force on the Homeless here in San Diego. It's been my honor to work with. Well, here he is. Been my honor to work with Ron on that committee. He has shown some excellent leadership himself, and it's been an honor as well for the Housing Commission, Ron, to be part of the county's homeless program as well. And with that, it gives me great honor to introduce to you Ron Roberts.
Thank you, Rick. Well said.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Rick, and good morning to everyone. Let me start out by singling a part of this program. There's so many pieces to this. It's fantastic. But there's one that for us at the county really registers strongly, and that's the 733 vouchers that are being committed today for Project One for All. So what is Project One for All? This was a program that was started by Supervisor Cox and myself last year. We refer to it as POFA, which is short for Project One for All. Very clever on our part. But it's a commitment that the county has made now to providing housing and services and treatment for the severely mentally ill individuals who are on our streets. This is a significant group, and a group that needs help in a big way. This is a big promise, and it's a big task. It's one that takes time as we earn one by one the trust and the cooperation of these individuals who are out on the street. We want to give them a positive future, and we're committed to that. Since we started last June, the program has housed now over 384 people, severely mentally ill individuals that have been on the streets. The 733 vouchers that we're hearing about here today are an incredible resource for maintaining the progress that we've already made. But more than the vouchers, I'm glad to join you today for this latest example of our community's collaborative will and spirit to end the chronic homelessness and the other types of homelessness that are plaguing our population. In the 4 months since we've relaunched the Regional Task Force for the Homeless, I have personally witnessed the sincere commitment of many of the people who are here today. I've met frequently, very frequently, with Mayor Faulconer to talk about the issues and what we can jointly do about this. And I've worked closely with Councilman Ward, who is serving as the passionate and committed vice chair of the Regional Task Force on Homelessness. And I've developed a far deeper respect for the talent and knowledge that Rick Gentry brings to this challenge. Out here today are even more leaders, including somebody I'd like to introduce, a newcomer amongst our gathering, and that's Gordon Walker, the talented new CEO of the Regional Task Force on the Homeless. And Gordon's over here. I told him to wear a yellow tie so we'd match here today. He has hit the ground running, literally, nonstop. He's been meeting with people all over the community, and he's also been joined by his lovely wife, Carlene, who's over here with us today, and they are taking in the San Diego climate and enjoying it immensely. So welcome to both of you, and Gordon, we are confident that San Diego is going to be the recipient of the kinds of programs that you were able to achieve in Utah and we're going to make a difference, all of us working together. Well, we didn't become overwhelmed with chronic homelessness overnight, and with housing first as our focus, it's not going to be fixed overnight, but it is going to be fixed. With the type of commitment we're seeing here today, with what's happened recently and the recent announcements, with what will be started in the near future, we can and we will make a positive difference for this entire community. Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for what you are doing and for inviting me, including me in this. And I mentioned earlier our compassionate, passionate, energetic vice chair of the Homeless Task Force, and that's Councilmember Ward, and I'd like to get him to come out and have some comments.
Thank you, Supervisor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Supervisor Roberts, and thank you, Rick Gentry, to you and your team. I've been on the job about 6 months representing the great neighborhoods of the 3rd District of the City Council, and it's been really a pleasure and honor to work so closely with the Housing Commission. All that you've done to develop and improve the programs that we're trying to expand now are effective, and we're going to be able to do more to help more San Diegans because of the work that we've already done and where we can go from here. To most effectively address homelessness, San Diego must not only implement strategies to house people who are currently homeless, but also strategies to help prevent people from becoming homeless in the first place. So the expanded resources that we're talking about here today, the program elements that you heard from Rick Gentry to start Housing First 3.0, will allow the Housing Commission to expand on their current success and make great progress on both fronts. I'm particularly encouraged in standing beside my colleague here, Councilwoman Gomez, who also serves on the City's Select Committee on the homelessness with me. We were able to invest another $1 million through this year's budget for additional prevention and diversion resources, and we're going to put those into action immediately. We know that the best way to address homelessness long term is to prevent it in the first place. And this provides a big step to better align our resources to support programs that we know are effective. As we continue to work on the Council's Homeless Select Committee to develop new complementary programs, improve collaboration between city departments and with partner agencies, and further strengthen the city's plan of action on homelessness, we will be looking to successful programs like these to build upon. And so I'm looking forward to keeping this brief and working with everyone here in the year to come and all of our regional partners to make the most of this investment and continue in the momentum to address our homelessness crisis. And now it's my pleasure to invite up to speak somebody who is not new to City Hall, but has recently been put into a very important position. I'm really excited to begin working with him. Jonathan Herrera, the new mayor's new senior advisor on homelessness coordination, to speak about your role. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Mr. Mayor, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm honored to be here and join in announcing the next phase of the Housing First San Diego initiative. And this plan really truly reflects the ongoing commitment by the mayor and city council and the Housing Commission to invest in proven strategies. It's a commitment to improve the delivery of homeless services and a commitment to fund the development of new permanent supportive housing units. We're building on our successes with housing veterans and expanding that model to serve a larger population. We're developing new and innovative approaches to not only serve individuals that are currently struggling with homelessness, but to prevent individuals from becoming homeless in the first place. And I firmly believe that there is no other issue as pressing or deserving of our joint efforts than homelessness in our region. We definitely have our work cut out for us. Thousands of San Diegans are counting on our help. The goals we've laid out today are ambitious, but these goals are achievable if we work together. It really is all hands on deck. We need everyone at the table if we're going to tackle this issue. And I am committed to working with any and all who share my passion for serving our most vulnerable citizens. Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And in closing, Rick and I wanted to make sure that we reiterate again to all of our staff that's been out pushing so hard at the Housing Commission, city, and the county. A lot of people that are not up here, but you see behind the scenes every day that have been united in this effort and all of these programs. And as I said, the determination. I will close, and you've heard several of my colleagues say this, the coordination and the collaboration, working together. It's never been better because it has to be. because we know the size of the issue that we're trying to tackle. So I wanted again to thank everybody. We're excited, really excited about these resources, about these programs, and the determination to make a huge difference for so many San Diegans. And with that, I will conclude, and any of us will be available to answer questions one-on-one. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ron. Chris. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.